Yeah, hi, I'm Kerry Mussington, the founder and director of Mind Over Matter Project, Suicide Prevention. And we have some members here of the WOM and volunteers here to come and talk about what we're hearing, our own experiences, what we think, just the food on the table, really. It's open talk. We're not here to tell you what to do. It's our own thoughts, our feelings, and you can claim your own. That's what boundaries are about. We've just had a question here, and one of the questions is, has anyone been in a situation where they have a child that is got problems and is becoming abusive and almost physically violent as well, perhaps smashing up doors and threatening behavior? And as a parent, what do you do about that? And I think we're all going to have a conversation around this one today. It's going to get you down, isn't it? Because you have loyals to your children. As a mum, you want to do what's best for your children, but here comes the boundaries here. We are talking literally boundaries, but as a parent, we want to help our children, right? Somewhere along the line. So what you just heard here as domestic abuse, feels the son may have mental health complications and maybe need addressing, and that's sorted out, has been through social services, been through the YMCA, and still here we're at this point now. What you've just heard today, does anybody have been through this? Talking about your children, what would you do with your children? I know I have, so I'll go last if you like, but anybody want to elaborate on what they've heard today?
Can I?
Sarah?
Yeah. Well, what I understood is quite a severe situation for a parent to deal with, right? I've been through similar things, but maybe I don't know to that extent, because I wouldn't have left it, carry on for long, because emotionally it's difficult. You can't cope. And if the parent is becoming weak, the parents can't help the child. So in her case, I don't know how severe, but from what I heard, it's quite severe. So she needs a third party to come in to help out. That's very important. She can't deal with it on her own. Nobody can, right? So I know that's her child. I know she loves her child dearly. Fair enough. I understand that. But as we are talking about boundaries, that's where you've got to implement your own boundaries, because it's your child, but you still need your strength to cope with for yourself and to help that child. So involving somebody else, like she had already got social services involved, but she needs like a professional care, I would say, not a carer, but she needs some intervention on a regular basis, somebody who can come each week or every 3 days or every day, to, if she's still got the child at home, to supervise and give advice and help her deal with this situation, literally.
Okay, so the age is adult, okay? Okay, so we're talking about young adult, has had trauma in the past, plus 18 now, okay? Plus 18. All right.
How old are they exactly? Are they 18?
Let's not give an exact date. Let's go legal age of adulthood. But
I don't mind giving his age, because the mental health team have refused him medication because he's only 20. He'll be 21 in March. I have mental health issues myself, and I am disabled. I have a spinal issue. I don't know if that will come into it anyway, because...
Okay, can I just say something about what she just said?
Sure.
Okay, they refuse to medicate him, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I've been in a similar situation as you. They refuse to medicate whoever, because I'm not supposed to give name or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. They refuse to medicate the child, right? It doesn't matter the age. Now, you need to talk directly to your child. You have to convince your child and go with him to the GP or whoever that is, the hospital, whoever, and say, he wants that medication. Because I understand your position, because in where you are at, I'm against medication, to be honest with you. But in your case, your child needs medication. You won't be able to cope with him, and he won't be able to cope with his own life unless he's got the help of medication, because he's went to, I mean, the mental health issue that he has went too far now.
Where it's got, sorry.
This will help him to this will the medication will help him emotionally and will help you as well as a mom. This is the first step to take. And then, sorry.
One of the difficulties that
he's speaking to people
is that they don't want to speak to anyone, and also will be absolutely angry if mum says anything to anybody else or gets anybody else involved. But of course,
should I tell?
Go ahead.
Sorry. Should we explain how bad it's got and the plan that I've got in motion that we spoke about the other day, so they know exactly where I'm at with it?
It's entirely up to you what you feel comfortable with saying and how. Okay, so just come up with a plan. Yeah, just come up with a plan to try and keep herself and her son safe and get him the right support that is needed here, because I think, for what I know, it's a little bit deep and it does need seeing to immediately, this situation. I do feel that social services definitely should be involved. Even though they probably need a little bit of a prompting, okay, and some kind of care plan down for yourself, really, because you should be safeguarded completely with the allegations that you've already made, and so should they, when you are concerned for your child, should be safeguarded as well. We can talk about the problems here before we're going to go to Steph's solution. What we're actually going to say is the problems that some of these parents have here is that when there is police call out, the police don't see mental health. They see swearing, agitation, somebody that's hostile, confrontational, and they haven't got time for the mental health side. Although they'd like to think so, when they do their best. But this is where, when somebody kicks off or they're aggressive, you'd like to think that the ambulance would be called as well. Now, we do have a problem with ambulance and police and taking mental health patients, people that are experiencing mental health symptoms of anger and violence, because it then would jeopardize the ambulance. So there's pretty much, you'd like to see that both, but what Steph's going to do is she's going to tell you what her plan is, just in case anybody else was in this situation, because she's tried being a pillar of post. She's been through the social services. She's been through everybody that she could possibly be through. This is now another result. Go ahead, Steph, all yours.
Yep, because he has issues speaking, he hasn't been diagnosed. If the police come again, he's going to get a criminal record. So my plan, because I am at my wit's end, as Kerry said, I can't ask him to go. He hits the roof. So the next time he goes scatty on me, I was going to phone an ambulance, knowing that they'll refuse to take him, have a statement prepared, ring the police and beg them to help me to get him to the hospital so he can be assessed, because and also with a letter stating that I can't have him home again, and his father's phone number, because I just don't know what else to do, how to get him out of the house. I'm terrified at this point, and I'm terrified for him, because if I just threw him out, he would kill himself. He's that bad with his mental health. He's hearing voices and all sorts of things.
Can I just ask a question?
Of course.
Yeah. Are you saying he's hearing voices, right?
Well, when he hits the roof, he starts screaming, "You think I'm a fucking scumbag? You're saying this, you're saying that." He's done it in front of other people.
Okay, fine. Okay, what else have you noticed? When this has started? When this story has started for you? When did you notice something was wrong with him?
When he was about 12, he started getting anger issues. In 2014, I took their father back because I thought he was homeless and they were crying about it. 9 months later, it turned out their father was living a double life and he left, which left both of my children suicidal. The youngest one managed to cope, but the oldest one's never.
Okay, I just
All
want
right,
you to
sweetheart,
hold on
listen.
here. Okay, so now he's 20. Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay, calm down, calm down.
Just
It's
take a
fine.
couple of breaths, all right? Take some
Have a
breathing.
rest,
Remember
yeah.
the breathing is important, because if you do your
Yeah.
breathing, you're in control of you and everything that you're saying. So even when you're
in a safe place.
Yeah, when somebody else is speaking, do your breathing, darling. Just breathe in through your nose and out.
I mean, this is why I didn't want to be on camera. I knew I'd cry. Sorry.
It's okay.
Fine.
It's okay.
It's fine.
It's okay.
And we're here to support. We're definitely here to
We
support you.
find there is solution, yeah.
He lost his place in the YMCA 6 weeks ago, and I think a lot of it's psychological, because all through COVID, my dad has been on death's doorstep and I'm not well, and my son has been between me and my dad. He hasn't spent a night at the YMCA. Now he knows in his mind he hasn't got a bolt hole to go to. This incredible Hulk temper has come back again. But also he's very lazy. He won't do anything for himself.
Okay, can I just say something?
Yeah.
Yeah, your son is not lazy, right?
Yeah.
Take that word out of your mind. He's got a mental issue. 20 years old, something, they want to do plenty in their lives. He's not lazy at all, first of all, misperception. What I would like to know is, like, can you talk to him or you can't? Because he will go over the roof. He will be annoyed or he will be upset. What is it exactly with him?
I can talk to him at times, but if I talk to him about anything that he knows is going wrong in his life, like he should be, there's work around if he wanted it, but he won't. He sleeps all day long, and I know that's a sign of depression. So he'll sleep, then he gets angry.
Okay, Steph, thank you. We won't, I mean, personally, with me, with you, I had a similar experience, so I won't go around and around with the same issue. Your son definitely needs medical attention. This is what you need to focus on. It won't work. He won't socialize like you would with anyone. He will drain, the situation will drain you down. He needs medical attention. That's the first step, because once he will have this medical attention, they will medicate him. He will be more stable. And then you will be able to proceed forward. But the first step is to medicate your child. That's all I can say. You could do, it will help you enormously. So if you can find somebody to talk to him at the right time, or you talk to him at the right time, and you book an appointment with the GP at the same time and request the medication to help him out, and he follow the steps, then you will have some oxygen, okay?
Yeah.
But right about now, I mean, personally, I gave what I know. I went through that. If you don't do it, it will be out of hands, as he is already. And remember, it's a mental issue. He won't go to work. He might work for 2-3 days, and again, something will happen. You can't put him through that much stress. He's not able to cope. His mental health has been affected. If you feel suspect that he's speaking to other people or he's out of his mind talking to whoever, it's already more than depression. You talking, I won't say the word. It's called, it's been a long time depression that's kind of escalated into something else. I won't say the name. I don't know you, you don't know me. I've got the name in my books. I'd let this to the GP
they
to
would call it
decide.
schizophrenia.
Yeah. I didn't want to say the word, but the GP is there to do the diagnosis, and he hasn't been diagnosed. So I'm not a GP. I don't want to go into that.
Because he hasn't been diagnosed, has he, Stephanie?
No.
He was assessed when he was younger, and they said that he was too young to really be assessed, and they said he was very, very sad and suicidal. But it kind of got hushed away with social services. He got let down by CAMS, and he does have trust issues.
Right.
He did ring the doctor the other week with me, but the doctor didn't want to give him medication.
And why did the doctor say he didn't want to give him medication? Is he saying that the medication that they would prescribe is too strong for him?
Sorry, Susan.
Because of his age.
But
Right.
also, can I just make this very clear? The doctor's not there to, he's not that psychologist. So what the doctor has to do, and he should have, Steph, is referred him
right.
to secondary
mental health
to
services.
get that diagnosis. All right.
Yes. Then you get the diagnosis, and then they can sort of prescribe you something, can't they?
Sorry, go ahead.
Let me just say something about that. She's supposed to go to her GP. If she's got to change GP, she can. But to be referred is another delay in time.
I get that. She can't over here. You have to go through the GP. Now the thing is,
in my area,
Steph can go for her GP.
No, can I just say,
her son?
Yeah, in my area, you can refer yourself directly to the mental health team, because I've got the number for myself. But it's, as Kerry said, because he's an adult, unless he willingly goes himself, I can't get him there.
Can I just say something, Steph?
But if he's a danger to himself and a danger
to you.
Sorry,
this is what I said to you. You've got to be with him to convince him and go with him. This is, if he goes on his own, fair enough, but you've got to convince him and go with him. He needs your support or somebody else's support. He needs somebody he can trust. But
has he got a friend or somebody?
I'm the only person that he trusts and he talks to. He is spending a few days.
You've got that in your advantage. Use it.
So he hasn't got like a girlfriend or sort of like a close, sort of like male sort of friends that so it can come round and sort of maybe take some of the stress off you as well.
No, he has totally isolated himself and clung to me.
That's a sign as well.
So I've offered to interject here because basically I've offered to interject here. That's something that Steph can put on the table. Can I work with the YMC to get his property back if he gets, now this is what the mental health services is all about, to make sure that people are structured. The YMCA should point out and know that he had been grieving and worried about loss and losing your loved one and about COVID. So this is playing a part as well. For me, Steph, what I can do for you is, you said he lost his place, but he needs to still be on a list somewhere along the line.
He's got points, so I'm trying to get him to engage with the council to bid on a property, but it's getting him to do anything other than eat and sleep.
No motivation.
Yeah.
Lost his place.
Yeah, I get it.
Staying there.
Yeah.
So I don't think that he
Sorry, Lou, didn't hear that.
So if he lost his place at the YMCA, because he hasn't been staying there.
No, it wasn't just because of that.
Sorry.
It wasn't just because of that. It was because of the way he is with his mental health. He always had his rent. He had to pay some extra, and they said it was never a problem getting it off of him, but it was always a day or two late because he'd go out and not come back for 2 or 3 days, and they had to put other people forward, and his tenancy had actually run out, so he's now classed as homeless again. But he should have enough points to get a flat but I don't know there's some error with the council not receiving the proof, but the YMCA sent it over, and
he needs a support worker, and he's not going to get any of that until he gets to this GP. As far as I'm concerned, Steph, we are now talking about boundaries as well. You're going to have to come to some kind of compromise, and this has to be in a compromise. He is in his right mind. If he can pick up a packet of fags, he knows what he's doing, right? In a sense. I'm not saying completely in his right mind. I'm saying he's not incapacitated. That's not the word, is it?
This is what confuses me.
Knows what he's doing within moderation.
Within a certain degree, I know that he has issues, but also he can control those issues in front of anyone else and doesn't do it in anybody else's house, what he does to me and in mine.
You hit it on the head then, didn't you? Because at the end of the day, what's going on now is boundaries, but specifically, we can put pointers on the table. What would we do if we was in your situation? We know that there's the GP and all of these things that we've got to consider here, and medication, diagnosis to consider. All right. However, for me, what would we do in this situation? I think we're going to ask everybody else. Let's just sit you there, ask everybody else. If this was us now, I know it's easy said than done.
Yeah.
But what would you personally be doing about your own mental health as well as this situation, please? Nikki, you go and answer that question first.
Okay. So I was just thinking, so like at AA, I mean, so like different, but so they gave an example. So like it is like a selfish program. So like if you're not well, so like you're not well. So like so I like to be there so for other people. So like you have to put your well-being as safety, so like as paramount before, so like you can help him. I mean, so like I don't know, so like when he's come, if he can actually open up, so talk to you, or if so like he's got like an uncle or so grandparents so like that he could speak to. Like if you two are button heads, so like just as a release, so just to get those all the craziness out of his head, or even write it down. So like keep a diary or something, so just so get them so like, you know, unstable so like thoughts out of his head.
But if he was not, or he or she, whoever you are talking about, Nikki, is refusing flat out, what is your next step? Because they're not permanently at your home, they're kind of sofa now. Okay, is that correct, Steph?
Well, yes and no. Is at mine more than anything else, because at my dad there is literally only a sofa and I've got a spare bed, but I couldn't say that because I'd get in a lot of trouble.
No, that's fine. But we class this as no non-stability, so we use that terminology as sofa surfing because there's no fixed abode at the moment. So Nikki, you kind of like you didn't answer the question as what you would do. You kind of said, well, go on.
Okay.
Hard one, isn't it? It's very difficult.
Yeah, because obviously, so like you don't want to see anybody sort of turn out on the street, but at the same time, you know, so like they can't so like come in and take over and so like treat you like crap, not in your own home. That's not acceptable. I mean, so like if that was so the other way around, so like I mean, so from what I understand, or so like listening to you, you would dream of going around to somebody's house and so doing that. So whether that's a parent, a friend, or you know, so like so Joe who lived down the street. So,
and if it was a boyfriend, it wouldn't be a question because I'd just get rid of them. I get them arrested. End of story. It's because it's my son and there's mental health issues involved, and he's so suicidal.
Is it a safety issue then?
Yes, because if he was in a normal frame of mind, I would literally throw him out on the street. But because I know he's so suicidal, he would kill himself if I'd done that. So I'm in a real catch-22 because if I throw him out for my well-being, he's going to end up dead without a fact. But if I keep him, his temper's increasing, and one day, he's going to end up in prison if I can't get him the mental help for it.
Can you speak to a doctor or the mental health team about getting him sanctioned for his?
Well, I was
like for your safety as well as his own.
One of my other plans was to ring my GP, who's not there very often, but if I have to wait a couple of weeks for an appointment, she went all through social services with me, so she knows our history. Speak to her as a mother from my point of view and ask her how we go about getting him help, because she might refer him and he might be okay speaking to her on
ask
a good
for an
day.
Emergency appointment. So like say it's an emergency, you know, so like it's not so like right that you carry on to like this. It needs dealing with now. So like not in 2 weeks.
Yeah,
but it's when she's about, because she's not there very often, the one that knows us and all of us.
All your so like information so like will be on the screen on the records. So I know it's not the same personal so like touch, but so like you know so like it needs doing now. So like if anybody is at risk, so don't wait, please don't wait.
Okay.
Thank you, Nikki. Hold that for Fee.
Oh gosh, that I don't really know what to say on that one because I've never really experienced anything like that. I think I'd be pushing with the GP just saying that she's struggling to cope herself with it. So if her mental health is badly affected and she's got disabilities as well, then the GP needs to do something. He clearly needs some sort of intervention with medication. I'd be wanting to push for that. Yeah. I wouldn't take no for an answer. I'd be asking for a second opinion, asking to speak to a different GP.
Yeah.
And just saying, it's affecting my mental health. I'm struggling. I'm really struggling.
Mm-hmm.
He's not safe. He's not safe for himself, but he's also at risk of doing something to me as well.
Exactly.
It really needs dealing with.
Okay. Right. Yeah. Right. I want to come back to those little points of views in a second. Louise, anything to say on that one?
Yeah. I think if I was in that situation, I'd try. I mean, it sounds like you've already exhausted so many avenues and got nowhere. So I'd maybe try and, don't know how easy it would be, but I'd maybe try and flip the tables and use myself as an example. So you're already struggling with your mental health and your disabilities. I would let him see that you are okay with accepting and seeking counselling for yourself, some talking to people, and maybe he might follow your lead. I mean, you've tried everything else, so if you lead by example and say, well, do you know what, I can't do this anymore, you've actually warmed me to the point where I now need assistance for myself.
That's a really good idea, actually, because I could invite him to join me.
Yeah, and then he might think, oh, do you know, well, I don't know. That's the only thing I could think of that I would do, is maybe try and flip it and say, like, I'm broken now. The only thing I can do, I can't help you because you've worn me out. I need to know. I need to go and get help. I need to go and speak to somebody. I might need some medication to help me get through this. If he sees that you're doing it,
yeah,
I don't know.
That's good.
That's just what.
Take on board this. Take on board this. Susan, anything to add?
Well, personally, I would go back to the GP. Okay. Now, when the GP said that he didn't want to put him on any medication because of age, I would have asked the GP and pushed for any alternative. What other alternative is there? Okay, because there is alternatives that maybe you're not actually exploring. So because he's not had a diagnosis, nobody can really say whether it's schizophrenia or nothing like that. What I would do is I would ask the GP then to get him referred to, because maybe it sounds like cognitive behavioral, which would be psychotherapy, might also be something that could work for him for the moment, to actually get him into that talking mode where he can feel relaxed and safe. So for me, I would start with that rather than pushing straight for the medication, because you've been already told why that is. And then I would have said to the GP, well, if he can't have medication, I need to have something else that could, like with talking therapy, as I said, there's cognitive behavioral therapy that can help. Also, I was going to also sort of like, what I wanted to say there, that when, for Stephanie, she can, when I'm sort of like talking about alternatives, there's lots of different forms of therapy out there. There's also alternative therapy, i.e. maybe, you could have looked in and maybe spoken to somebody that could help with, you have certain kind of herbal, you've got spiritual herbal practitioners that deal with certain herbs that they might give you or they might recommend. It could be something as simple as lavender, which is what we call a soothing property. So if you use lavender to put across his forehead, gets him into a very sort of like a relaxed type of mood to bring down whatever his anxiety is. And also because he has got depression, because anybody that's doing lots of lengths of sleeping, it is about depression. And as Sarah said, you know, don't see it as lazy, because according to some people under research, there is no such thing as lazy. It's just a word. There's nobody in this world is actually lazy, according to certain researchers. So I understand where Sarah's coming from when she says to take that out of your, you know, your thoughts about him, about being lazy. It is about him struggling with things, but also yourself and protecting yourself would be to go back to the GP and actually explain to the GP the effects that is having on your mental health. Because he doesn't have anywhere. He is at your home. He does come there and sofa serve. You don't want to be throwing him out or closing off, but at the same time, you need to protect yourself. And in order for that to happen, he needs some form of intervention. So I'd go back to the GP again, because it's got to start with the GP.
Yeah.
And then you can move forward. But in the meantime, as I said, there's things called alternative therapy. Sometimes the Chinese
Acupuncture.
Well, not so much acupuncture. I'm more looking at things that he can actually sniff, smell. Sorry.
Like herbal remedies and things.
Yes,
like
herbal remedies, because
you
you've
get
got
oil,
some.
can't you? And
That's right. That's right. You've got some herbal remedies, like you know, maybe that's something that he can take in the morning. He can smell. Tops him up. Yeah, tops him up. Does Stephanie, does he smoke in any way?
Yeah, he does smoke tobacco.
Does he smoke cannabis?
Very, very occasionally. Maybe like one joint a week, because he goes in the shed and thinks I don't know. But
okay, so really one a week wouldn't. Sorry.
I also think that he might be slightly on the spectrum, because he's always been very black and white. And when he gets frustrated, the first thing he does before he smashes the house up is punches himself in the side of the head to the point of bursting all the blood vessels at times. Very, very black and white. I think if he is, it's only slightly, but don't know if that would come into it anyway as well. But of course, all this comes into an assessment.
This anger, can I, ladies, just say, first thing that I have here is an issue with what I'm hearing. Okay, that's a big issue. We're talking about what I would do in this situation, or anybody else should be doing in this situation. First and foremost, we have a big issue of danger. We have a vulnerable lady. She's already told you, basically wheelchair, whatever it is. Okay. We have aggression in the home. We have violence in the house. We have threats. Correct. Also, that can go ahead. We don't have time for that, GP. That's on the agenda. Second on the agenda. First on the agenda, and Steph will know what I'm like. Safeguarding, I'm afraid. Immediate safeguarding. Because she's vulnerable, we would say to you, anybody in the audience or listening to this, that when you're hearing disturbing things and it's coming about abuse, domestic, whether it's a child doing it to a parent or not, it is the same thing. It's under the same roof. It's domestic. Although it's very difficult for a parent to turn their child over to get the right treatment, because we're talking about anger. And where is this anger coming from? So we're going to deal with what's the underlying issue of what's causing the depression. And we do know a bit of the back history here. So therefore, we do know some of the experiences. What I have an issue with is if we go and safeguard, which means we do have to report to the social services because she's vulnerable. So she's under their care, all right? Also, the duty of care is the doctors, which then the doctors will also, they will supposed to talk to one another about this. Also, again, also getting a flag on her address to make sure that her address is if there is a call there, it goes straight to where it needs to be. The other
priority
issue is that if you tell the social services, I will back you up with this, all right? Don't worry, I'll be right there with you when you need me to be there, okay? I've been there before on social services, we can do it again. If you tell the social services in advance, and you tell the police in advance, and you tell the GP in advance what your concerns are, that gets written down as documented evidence that you are worried about that person's state of mind, meaning your child, okay? I'm also would be worried about your state of mind. Susan's been kicked out, I'm sure she'll come back in a second. But she's not. I'm worried about your state of mind and deteriorating, because you need to keep your health and your immune system up. Pulling that down with depression is only going to kick in more diseases and more problems. Difficult thing to do, but we do need to make sure that you're empowered with knowledge here, Steph, because safeguarding is one of those. It has to be a must. We need to speak to a social worker. Social worker is going to get involved with your child anyway in the long run, because they're the one that's supposed to, and secondary mental health care is supposed to work with you as a family somewhere along the line with all of your concerns, okay? But definitely the social services need to be involved to make sure that you've got everything there for you, okay? I know that you're going to help your son, but you are going to you're going to be called to be kind here, Steph. I'm sorry, you're going to have to be. And that means giving your son some kind of ultimatum at some point, that he could either go with you to an appointment to change the circumstance and to get his housing and everything in order, to get the right treatment, the right assessment, get the right behavior. You can even offer him free at this table is hypnotherapy for starters, people that listen and help them meditate and wind down. So that, I know that these ladies on here would offer that to your child, all right? You want family mediation or something along the line, that's there as well. We can give you that as well. If he takes it. If he's not going to take anything that you've got on the plate, then I'm sorry, you're going to have to save your life. You think you're going to, I don't want to get my son into trouble, or you're going to be saving his life by getting that intervention one way or another, because what you're saying to me and describing to me, that if one action, another action, he could be in prison for something that he could have been taken care of. Does that make sense?
Yep.
To nip this in the bud, let's make sure it's not psychosis. Nikki's had psychosis before. I don't remember what that feels like, but I witnessed that psychosis myself with Nikki because of alcohol, etc. as well at the time. But Nikki's came on because of stressful situation, and if I'm right, Nikki is open, so I can say what I like. Please come on, Nikki. If I'm right, round about the time Nikki started to develop psychosis was over drugs and over alcohol and over pressured relationship. That's where your psychosis came into play. All under wraps now, isn't it, Diane? You've gone and done a lot of work to make sure that doesn't come back. And you've been, as far as I know, coming up 3 years psychosis free. And that's because you took that alcohol, de-stressed yourself, implemented structure, routine, and
that was very important.
Every single week, therapy without fail. I know, Steph, this is difficult to try and get your son there, but if we balance it on a scale, look, listen, this is very simple. Take this help that is offered to you on a plate. I still and will also be getting help for myself because it is overbearing. You have to be, you've done as much as you can, so be proud that you've stuck it in for the long run. You've been there, you've done what you can do, you've tried different avenues. I'll say be proud, but I think I'll back you up with this one, Steph. If you need my stamp behind you to talk out to the social services, to speak to your GP, I'm more than willing to do that. All right.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I don't want obviously like dates or anything, but how close is? What happens when he turns 21?
Well, even the fact that he's 18. It's classed as an adult. So it's the same thing now.
Sorry, I thought she said he was 20.
Well, he's past that mark. He's past 18.
Yeah, but social services, do they still get involved?
Because Stephanie is vulnerable. She will need social services because she has carers. So the carers should be aware of this as well. When you're doing care work and then you hear these stories from individuals that you're caring for, you must report that. So really, carers have a legal duty to report what they're hearing here to social services so they can get the help as well. So really, if we're all on board singing the same hymn, saying, listen, we need to give Steffi some help, but we also need to provide her son with some help and really look into that background of this. If he's willing, if he's not willing, this is your problem, because there's only two things that are going to happen. One will be an arrest and one will be a sectioning. From the sectioning, he may just get a diagnosis.
Yeah.
What are you going to do about you then to keep yourself mentally right so you don't feel suicidal? We're not having you go down that road, love, all right? So what are you going to do about you to fulfill yourself, Steph?
I guess refer myself to the mental health team has been suggested.
Even though I'm here, we can sit here and talk to you, we can all sit here and talk to you. It's not the talking that you want. You need a solution. And so until you start getting some care plan in order for your child, you're kind of not content. And that's what you're asking for, a care plan for your child. And then you can relax yourself a little bit more. Mental health services, there's one right here, but so or you can go and speak to someone else, take the option as well and get the whole package. We're just here to talk to you, give you extra talk, take the whole package. But you are entitled to that because you are classed as a vulnerable adult. Nikki, go ahead.
Steph, I was just wondering, so are you able to get out of the house?
Yeah, I am.
Are there any groups you could join locally, like a book group or a craft group or something? So just to get you out of the house and give you some space and meet new people. So that isn't like a cloud constantly over your head at home all the time.
I'll have to look into it. Because of COVID, nothing's been open, but things are just opening up now.
They're starting to relax a bit now.
We can get you online craft. You can get an online craft. I know Dion Isabel, she does online craft. She sends you the stuff and then you do it online and you come fit of your own home, talk to other people. So those are things you can get involved in.
Yeah, like distractions and they'd be quite calming as well. So just something, so maybe put the radio on and sit do a bit of crafting or something. So you could even start your own little business, doing cards or pictures or something.
She had a fantastic idea, and it came into play, which was when she sorts herself out, which is a focus, isn't it, Steph? A focus on your mind. She said there isn't many mothers out there that are going through this. I mean, there are a group for people that she knows of that are going through this situation where they're worried about their child wanting to end their life, and in this situation, I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not far off, Steph. I'm not talking about that I'm going through any domestic violence with my own child. I have a child that I worry about whether or not he's going to end up taking his life because he's in a difficult situation. What can I do? I've reached out. Do you want to talk to me? When a child won't speak to you, and this is where we're at, when a child will not speak to you and will not communicate with you, there is only so much you can do. Because when they are past the 18-year threshold, all of these lessons, all of these barriers, everything else is just like, oh my God, we've got to learn it. But thank God for today that that in 2021, mental health is spoken about. Back before, it wasn't. So in 2021, we can actually reach out and say, look, these are problems. But I will say that I totally feel when you feel hopeless about your children, and all you can do is be positive and pray for a good outcome and keep the state of mind balanced, because when they do the last thing you need to be doing is deteriorating. Half of this, where
we want to start a group, is what she's trying to say.
Yeah, we do. Half of this is where children start feeling instability is when they've had mothers like myself. I'll put my hand up on a plate to say that I never gave my children stability each time I threatened to take my life or done something silly when my kids had to have that. Oh my God, I'm never going to lose my mum. I might lose my mum again. And so I can understand why one of my children won't get close to me, because he thinks that will happen to me again. And I'm trying to say to him, hey, look, I'm changing. I've tried to replace all of that negative thinking by doing positive action and attending groups, doing all I can, speaking out when I've got an issue. Because balancing mental health, balancing the self-harm, those suicidal thoughts are very difficult sometimes when you're up against negative behavior. But that's their negative behavior, not ours. And we take on too much of everybody else's situation, thinking we can't fix it, we can't fix it, we can't fix it. So what do? We don't change this here or this. We quit. And we can't quit, because we have an example to set to the children when we bring them into this world, that no matter how difficult it is, keep talking and change will come. That's my opinion on this as a mum. I know that bitter feeling when you want to change the outcome. You wanted them to just be everything that they are, and they will. We just have to put ourselves back where they were when we weren't very well and we didn't know how to speak out. We didn't know how to speak correctly. And just time, but you're doing really well. But now's time to step it up and implement safety for you, okay? And for your child as well.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I've got a reprieve for almost 2 weeks, so I have got some time to go to the doctors and try and talk to them about Billy, ring social services, and all these ideas that you've given me.
Yeah, and we'll write them down. And again, you see, when we're talking, you've got to remember that memory, Steph has a lot of immune complications which make her tired, okay? So what I do is, so she doesn't forget, because sometimes when she wake up, she might, the memory won't be 100% sharp because of the tiredness. So therefore, I write it down and I send a checklist of all the things that she could say or do when getting help for herself and her child. So that's just a bit of a tip back. Don't just reel things off your mouth, people. When people are trying to take in information, write it down and send it back to them. Yeah. That's my advice on that one. Right, guys. Steph, anything else do you want to add to that before we go on to something else?
Thank you.
And you know what? This is what we're here for, to just come and express. Let us know how you get on next week if you want to come back next week, and just let us know, and I'll do my best behind the scenes with you as well. All right?
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, give us a text in the group during that week, so just to say hi and let us know how you're getting on.
Okay, I will do. Thank you.
And we'll chat with you as well. So yeah.
So we've got a little bit of support here as well. So
of course,
support. We're not judging you on the fact that saying anything. Don't look at you as if you're a bad mum. Because you're not. You're perfectly wonderful mum. All right. And
just be normal chat, hi, how you doing? What you up to today? Oh, guess what happened to me? So just a bit of normality.
Yeah.
And so you're not by yourself.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, Steph. Thank you very much. Does anybody else? We're just going to go and move on to one more topic in a minute. Alcohol. Nikki mentioned at the very beginning that she'd met somebody where she used to attend on the AA, and so when you said to us that this person takes small steps little and often and breaks down her day so she manages not to drink again, did it make you feel that how advanced you are really gone forward now? How did that make you feel hearing her story and then comparing it with your own?
that was so like so as she was talking, I was like, yeah, I used to do that. That's how so like I began. So like rather than just like waking up and thinking, oh, I've got to do this, I've got to go there, I was just so like breaking so like the day down. So like get up, you know, so get the girls all done, so get them to school, come back, right? That's the first part of the day done. So like if there's sort of washing, tidying up, so like to do, so get that done. I can stop and have a coffee. That's another part of the day done. So I just like break it down into sections, and then like say so like I'd like so the girls are at school, so like on time, so everything is done. So like, you know, so like check. So like that's my first hurdle. I've done that. I've achieved like so little achievements so like throughout the day. And so like I found that breaking things down that was easier rather than so, oh, I've got to do this, got to do that, got to do that, got to do that. So like just, you know, one thing at a time.
And have a little bit of a plan, right? It's important to have a plan, because when we've got nothing
so
tomorrow, then that makes, if I have to be honest here, if there's nothing planned for tomorrow, then you're more likely, I ain't getting up today, I'm not doing it today. So then it needs to be an agenda.
It used to be, yeah, that would like be can't be bothered. That was so like my tagline, can't be bothered, I don't have to, I ain't got to be anywhere. But so like I find so like no, so I will get up, so like I will have a shower, you know, rather than just so like I'll lay about here and watch crap on TV, so just because I can, you know. It's like, oh, I can so go upstairs and go through my clothes in the wardrobe, you know, so take them to the charity shop, and then, you know, so when I get paid again, I can go out and buy myself some new clothes to make myself feel good again, you know. So like check me out, what I wear it. so like just little so like I don't know, so like things to so keep the house running, but to make me feel good, like little rewards. So like each week. So yeah.
Thank you. Fiona, how do you reward yourself? And what change have you had?
How do I reward myself? Just taking time out for myself. If I haven't got the kids, like at the weekend, I went on Saturday night. I went to a friend of mine for some tea. It was a late belated birthday tea, but that was really nice. Take myself out for walks, because I like going in walks, especially in nature. Listening to music as well. I just like whacking the music up. That's always good for. Yeah, I like listening to music.
Can we just ask? I'm gonna whisper here as well. That's your distraction technique. Brilliant, good plan, positive. Anyone have a distraction technique here that when they're angry, what's the first thing that you want to do? If you find you use a distraction to put music on or go for a walk, is that your way of distraction for your anger, all of you?
Truthfully, us going to the back door and having a fag. So like just sort of standing outside, so like taking myself out of like that environment just for a few like minutes, so like 10 minutes, have a fag, stand there for another 5 minutes, so take a breath and come back in.
Yeah, I second that.
Yeah, smoking.
I normally have like a daily rant.
What's a daily rant like? And tell us what
Well,
daily
I've got
rant's like.
a couple of friends that, so if I'm at work, there's one person who, and we use each other. So we work in different parts of the school, and you know, if your day's going wrong, or you know, someone's annoyed you, or you're stressed out with the kids, or whatever it is, when we meet, we're like 5-minute rant. And literally just get it all out. Oh, I'm so annoyed at this, and I'm so annoyed at that. And then we'll be like, now back to it. And we'll go back in. And you know, it's just, instead of going around holding it in all day long, letting it fester and boil up and make you, you know, angry with everything else that you wouldn't have probably got angry with, you got to get it out. With my friends on the phone, I'll message my friends and I'll say, got 10 minutes, got a rant. Thanks for that. Love you. Bye.
Yeah, and that is, it is nice. It's nice if you have someone like that. Not everybody has someone.
No, I know, but that's how I do it. I mean,
and I think it's lovely.
You know,
Brilliant.
a cigarette at the back door, you know, that would probably be one of them. Or
Yeah.
whacking the music up and having a good old boogie and singing ballads at the top of your voice to try and
Yes.
I don't know.
How do you relax then, guys?
I don't relax.
Oh, you will in a minute. You will in a minute.
Oh no!
Relaxing.
I know what that means. I won't be snoring again.
I think, you know, I mean, God, we could talk forever, and we've done this for 1 hour already. Look. And yet we're not even whizzed around everybody, but, you know, we can do forever. But I just think we can talk about boundaries. Look, I told you I've got a whole sheet, but I said I'm not doing scripted today. And when I did scripted, it was very noticeable, and I don't mind positive criticism, but when I did scripted, you guys knew I was being scripted, and so you pointed that out. And so I thank you for that feedback, because even though I go, oh, all right, I take that as that you have my best interest at heart. And so I felt that when you said it, I understood what you meant, and I felt it. I was being somebody I wasn't. Okay, I really am not scripted. I'd rather us just talk.
And that hasn't happened today, has it?
No, it didn't actually, did it? But Sarah, all the way from France, you know, and Susan's brought Sarah, invited Sarah. So that's what I'm saying. Invite someone in. They may want to talk for the hell of it. They just may want to talk. Who's doing the therapy? Who's doing our talk tonight? I've got music ready.
I am. I'm going to do one page, and then I'm going to read a little bit around boundaries.
Okay. All right. So are we all going to sit back then? So you want the music?
I need a pillow.
Yeah. Well, yeah. If you can make yourself nice and comfortable in your chair with a little pillow, something that you can prop yourself.
If we only get our me time tonight, I'll take this every single week. This is something that we can
now.
Steph, in a second, what we're going to do is put some music on in the background and just breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth. You know the rigmarole what goes on.
Yeah, and I'm going to turn off my camera because I get a bit shy. So I'm not concentrating on you guys.
Right. So just breathe in through your nose all through this meditation. When the music goes on, you'll hear Susan's voice. I would like for you to just breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth. Just put yourself relaxed in mind and say, you know, to yourself right now, well done for talking today. Little and often will become more. Trust me. But
everybody kind of relax.
Yeah. So am I putting the timer on again? This is real life.
Yes, you can go ahead with that.
Okay. All right. Okay. Sorry, got to do this. Quick. Oh, where if I find a clock? Oh, it's a clock, is it? That's a clock, isn't it? Stopwatch. 10 minutes. I want to put my timer on. 10 minutes. I got you. And you want the music, don't you?
Ready to go.
You got to go. Are you ready to go?
I said I'm ready to go.
All right. Apologise right there. Okay. Let me share the sound with you. And are you ready?
So as you lie back or sit up in your chair, relax. You can settle down and begin to relax and just make yourself nice and comfortable. You can notice the weight of your head resting on a pillow, and you can be aware of your head relaxing in the back of your chair, knowing that that chair will fully support your full weight of your head. So you don't have to hold on to any stress or tension in your shoulders or your neck. You can just let your head rest back, nice and relaxed, and let go. And you can relax your shoulders too, because you know that your chair will fully support you. It can make your full weight, your full height, every muscle, every fiber of your being, as you just relax back into the couch, fully supporting because now is the time for you to do nothing. You don't have to be anywhere, and you don't have to do anything. You just have to lie back and relax. And your mind can drift and dream as you hear all the sounds around you. The sounds outside, none of these things need to distract or disturb you, as they comfortably remind you that the world is safely still turning. And you can allow yourself a moment to just rest back, relax and let go. You can go and let go of any tension in your stomach, across your shoulders, ease off those muscles in your back and down your spine, and along the muscles in your legs and down through your ankles, and all the way to your feet, your toes, even your arms. Every finger loosen and relax perfectly at ease, drifting and dreaming with your thoughts as you pay attention to your breathing, that gentle rise and fall that happens all by. And with every breath you take, and every word I speak, just let go. And you can recognize that now your first priority is to yourself. You can understand that when you are feeling relaxed and calm, you can function in as much more streamlined and efficient manner. And those situations which have been a source of irritation and upset to you in the past can be seen as a whole new way. You know that when you are relaxed and calm, you find it easy to deal with those situations which require your attention. Because when you are relaxed and calm, you intuitively know exactly how to deal with any situation to arrive at the absolute best result possible for all concerned. And it might be that sometimes you will need to say no. Sometimes you will need to be clear about your personal boundaries, clear about your own needs, remembering and being comfortable in the knowledge that your first priority has always to be yourself. And we can forget about thinking this is selfish, because when you take care of yourself, you feel good. And when you feel good, then you have amplified resources left to care for others. So you can see now that taking care of yourself is actually a selfless thing to do. You will benefit immensely from recognizing that by taking care of yourself first, by meeting your own needs for yourself as a priority, you are able to be more available for others when you wish to be. By meeting your own needs, you will even discover the needs of those around you actually begin to change. Your world begins to change for the better. As you lie there now, I'm going to ask you now to slowly come back into the room, come back into the atmosphere, open up your eyes, and you will realize to yourself that you have all the empowerment to actually lift your voice, to actually say no, and to remember that your first priority is to yourself. So you can come back into the room now, and you can slowly open your eyes. Just tell me how you all feel.
Nice.
Wow.
Very nice.
Very relaxed all over again.
Was
Yeah.
that within the 10 minutes? Because I didn't quite, I thought I had to bring it to an end. I didn't quite.
Actually, you had 5 more minutes left.
Oh, wow.
But you know
Okay.
what? Practice is perfect. Can you still hear the music in the background, by the way?
Yes, I did, but I could hear somebody. I thought I heard some children in the background. I don't know.
That's okay.
Not me.
Not me.
I actually muted Sarah. Sorry, Sarah. I have to unmute you, love. You have to unmute.
Unmute yourself, Sarah. Unmute.
Can you still hear the music?
No.
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 Unmute. You're muted. How do you tell her that she's muted?
Okay,
Would you-
let's say give us a clue. Sarah,
Mic on, tell her.
Sarah, I know you can hear me. Sarah? Oh, stop it. Okay, it's a little button down the bottom.
Oh,
Can't ask to
okay.
unmute.
That look a bit like an acorn. Tell her that.
Oh. Steph, Fee, how are you finding today's? How are you finding this coming each week? It's only your second time, but well done for coming back.
It's good.
Unmute yourself.
It's good.
Yes, unmute yourself.
The icon zoom is out. It's giving me activation email sent outbeat of It can went somewhere else. Hold on, register today. Sugar.
We can see you. We can see you. And what we're trying to say, if you go to the bottom of your screen, you will see the toolbar. And on the toolbar, it has mute, it has stop video, it has share screen, chat, participants. On that, you have to go to your mute button and unmute yourself.
Susan, I know all these steps. On my screen is completely blank. It's like I've lost you. My computer is...
Oh, it's probably, she's probably down in the search bar downstairs. So she just has to wiggle the mouse around to see if something else, or go back. Oh, it doesn't matter.
Lost her screen totally, she said.
Sorry for that. It's just now.
I can hear her.
We can hear you.
Yeah.
Find Zoom, the Zoom page again. It gives me a lot of Zoom like contact us, build forward with conference. What happened there?
Have you locked her out, Kerry?
No, she's
Oh.
still, she's in the room, isn't she? She's just got them.
And see what happens.
She
But
can't
It's
see-
something that she's touched. It's something that she's, because
just
we can see you on the screen.
just hold that for. I'm just gonna just hold that
And then
for.
what? Hold on, she might have found it. Yeah, go ahead anyway, Kerry. Carry
Okay,
on.
just hold that for. I just want to end this on a positive note. I'm just going to stop the meeting right now. So if we can say smile on your best way out, she'll get this bit. She can't see it, can she? So just smile for a minute, and I'm just going to on the rest out. You've heard it today. A mother in dilemma today. We will get her the help. She knows that. She can rely on me for sure. And you've heard it. You don't have to put up with unruly behavior in your home. You can do something. You can help your children and do something about it. You've heard there's a lot of the voice that had gone onto the table today. Now we need action. So we're going to take those steps backstage and apply action. And also, Steph, you're welcome to come each week to open talk. Feel free. Thank you guys for participating. Hold your best smiles. You know what we're like. Mind over matter. Regain, recover, rediscover. With us, we're just normal people, just giving our food for thought on everyday real life. Thank you very much for being here.